Hey, you. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking to you. Are you looking for the best way to promote your podcast? It's easy. Just advertise your podcast to your ideal target audience. That's right, listeners of similar podcasts. Podbean has the best and most cost-effective options for you. Just go to the website sponsorship.podbean.com/STR. That's right, your friends here at Scout Team Radio are hooking you up. Go to sponsorship.podbean.com/STR and you will get the best deals to get your podcast rolling. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy Scout Team Radio.
Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah. Good morning and welcome back. You are listening to Scout Team Radio. We bring it to you hot and live each and every morning, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday on 12-ounce Sports Radio. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
No, I'm not. Maybe I am. I don't know. And the man on the other microphone, he is a great patriot. He is more patriotic than Wonder Bread.
Yeah, it's your boy, Chris America, coming to you live this Wednesday, April the 17th. And Loudbeard, the number 17 is a big number for us today.
Oh, yeah, is it?
Yeah,
Big. 1-7.
we are 17 downloads away from 10,000 downloads all time.
Yeah, that's a good number.
17
That's a
more
good
downloads,
number.
and we'll be at 10,001. So we can say we have 10,000 plus downloads at the end of the day. I think we're going to hit it.
We're going to hit it, no problemo. And that's on our podcast, which you can find if you search Scout Team Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts. And if you do that, make sure you subscribe, you rate, you review, you do all that good stuff so we can hit our 10,000 downloads today.
Yes. We're also on
Good
Stitcher and Podbean and Apple Podcast. Did you say Apple Podcast?
I did. It's okay. It's still early. I understand where you're coming from there. Yeah, just kind of getting into the groove of it. We're also live. Those downloads don't even include our live listens.
No,
live
live listens
every
are great.
morning on 12-ounce Sports
Yes.
Radio, and we're excited to be here. We're
Went
also
to
on
OZSportsRadio.com, 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's Eastern Standard Time. Or
Yeah,
3 in the
that
morning
is-
if you're in California.
Yeah, I don't know that we have that many California listeners. 3 in the morning. That's a little bit of a rough get up and go. Unless you're working the night shift, then we might be your favorite show ever.
Yeah, we can be your show that brings you down the home stretch to the end of your night.
Yep, and then I do have to mention we're also on the Barn Burner Network podcast network. Check them out at barnburner.ca. All right, got all of that out of the way. Chris America, are you sad this morning? Because yesterday we had a rough day, man.
Yeah, well, we got all that out of the way, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, the 8th seed, got the Tampa Bay Lightning out of the way. They made easy work with the Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we're going to talk about it, okay? The best way to face your fears and face your disappointments and face all of the sadness that is right in front of you is to face it head on, and that's what we're going to do with your Tampa Bay Lightning. And, I fall into this category where I think I mentioned on the show once or twice where, hey, Chris America, is it inevitable that the Lightning this is their season, this is their main, this is, I don't know, this glorious season where they have the best record in the regular season and they make their run, and maybe I cursed them, maybe I gave the Lightning the kiss of death, but watching them out on the ice, they weren't playing bad, but they were not the same team that they were in the regular season, were they, Chris America?
I don't even know who this team was. It was just... And they did this last year, too. I think they went up 2-0 against the Capitals, and then they just disappeared. I think they scored like 1 or 2 goals the rest of the way, and they lost.
Yeah, and this is a tough loss. Like you said, it's the 8th seed. Now, the Blue Jackets, they made some mid-season acquisitions and brought in some talent. And, I mean, it's a good team. Now, I do have to give credit where credit is due. I think that their goalie really stepped up. Bob Broski, I'm going to probably say it wrong. He is, when I was watching this game, he would not let anything by. You know, we have Vasilevsky, who I thought was the best goalie in the entire league, who was amazing all year long. And I felt like they were scoring at will on us. They could just score so easily on the Tampa Bay Lightning. But when you looked at it on the other side, the Blue Jackets, they didn't let up a whole lot of goals. They played great defense, and their goalie, who is a guy that's known for not stepping up in big games and having problems in the playoffs and not being a big-time type of goalie in the big moments, he stepped up when he needed to. And in that third period last night, when the Lightning were desperate, they were only down 1 goal for the majority of that period, he didn't let anything by. He was a brick wall, and the Lightning were giving him everything they could. And then, of course, as soon as they pull Vasilevsky out of the net, all of a sudden the Blue Jackets score a couple empty netters to make this a bigger win than it really was. But the Lightning, they couldn't do anything. And you know what? I got to tip my hat to the Blue Jackets. They earned this victory.
Yes, they did, and good luck to them the rest of the way. I kind of feel defeated and not really that interested in hockey right now, Loudbeard. Maybe the feeling will come back. Maybe I'll get behind like the Golden Knights, or I don't know. But we're not the only ones that got swept last night, Loudbeard.
No, the Lightning, unfortunately, were not the only one to get swept. Another big name. No, we talk about the Lightning. They've got all these big names. You have Kucherov and Stamkos. There's another big name in hockey, a guy that is a household name in Sidney Crosby, who is having just as bad of a day as the Tampa Bay Lightning Stars are, and his Pittsburgh Penguins, huh? What about those guys?
Penguinos are out of there.
Yep, they get launched away. Islanders, big time sweep by the Islanders, man. This is interesting. This whole playoff system has gotten real interesting. It almost kind of makes the regular season not mean a whole lot, that now all of a sudden you get into the dance. As long as you're there, you've got an opportunity. It's not like the NBA where it's like, okay, Golden State's going to win no matter what. No, this is in the NHL, anybody has a chance to win. And to me, it makes it a little bit more exciting, Chris America. You're not excited anymore. I know you're a little sad about your Lightning.
I'm just bummed,
yeah.
man. Just, I'll get over it.
I hope you do. I really do. But you got the Penguins out. You got the Lightning out. But you mentioned the Golden Knights. Now, this is a team. Last night they win 5-0. God, they're on fire. Maybe this is the team that we should get behind, Chris America. We need to get behind another team. You and I are Lightning are out. I like the Capitals, but I always like to see a different team win each year. So I'm not going to go all in on my Capitals again, even though I do like Alex Ovechkin fighting. And update on that injury. We talked about it yesterday. Ovechkin knocked the rookie out. Update, he's going to be out for the foreseeable future with a concussion. He's in the concussion protocol. So, yeah, he got
that's
knocked.
usually what that means when you get knocked out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not doing too hot. So
that's why I find it funny that whenever we talk about CTE and concussions, we never talk about UFC or boxing. I mean, maybe some people do, but it's not as strong and prevalent as it is in football. And people get knocked out all the time in those sports.
It's a good point. This is a sport where you actually take your hands and forcibly hit them up against somebody's head to try to knock them out.
Right.
And we're talking about
your
safety.
goal is to give them a concussion.
Yeah, like literally it is. It's like, I want to knock you out, give you a concussion. That means I'm going to win the match or win the fight. And yeah, we're worried about football players who make bazillions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, Loudbeard, there's one more depressing thing we need to get out of the way. The Orlando Magic.
Oh, okay. You're just jumping right in, man.
I'm you know what? I'm a bad news first kind of guy. I just want to talk about it. And then I'm going to read us a poem to cheer us up, and we can move on to a better, happier show.
I don't know if I'm ready for this, Chris America. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm ready to admit to what happened last night with the Orlando Magic. Can we just talk about some depressing ice hockey scores again, or do we have to go all in and go for Orlando Magic? To all those listeners out there, I know you're listening in nationwide, worldwide, but we are here in Orlando, so we give a little extra love to our Orlando Magic. And when they went up 1-0 to the Toronto Raptors, we were on the highest of highs. But now, all of a sudden, Chris America, he likes to bring us back down to earth. And why don't you go ahead and give us the quick update on your Orlando Magic, Chris America?
Well, Kawhi went off with 37 points. Lowry not far behind him with 22. And the Raptors just annihilated the Orlando Magic. Not a good showing for the Magic. Aaron Gordon was the leading scorer with only 20 points. 5 for Jonathan Isaac. 6 points for Nick. Did he get hurt? Because he only had 25 minutes in the game. That's not a lot for your starting center.
No, I don't believe he got hurt. I think towards the end of the game they just kind of started pulling players. Yeah. It's like we're already throwing
wave the white flag. Let's bring it back
Yep.
to Orlando. So that means Orlando Magic fans, you got to come out swinging. You got to come out loud. And I saw a report that said that Orlando had the 3rd most expensive tickets. So the demand is high here in Orlando. We've talked about it before, way before the season started, how much we love playoffs in Orlando, that people just don't understand the atmosphere we have when the Orlando Magic are in the playoffs. And I think us having the 3rd most expensive tickets as such a small market shows how much of a fervor and a passion we have for playoff basketball.
We really do. I was looking at tickets for Sunday, and they're pretty pricey. Especially when you get the black market resale type guys that are trying to jack them up on you. I'm probably not going to end up going because they have gone up too high. It's going to be, when you end up dropping several $100s on one game, not quite worth it. But we'll see. I'll see if I get my wallet opened up a little bit wider to see if I can pull out one of these tickets. But yeah, they're expensive. What should I do?
You should go to FanDuel.com/STR and try to win some money on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'll bet on the Magic like I did last night. So I'm double broke.
Dang, don't do that.
Yeah, I was like, Jonathan Isaac, he'll have a big game. True story.
Yeah, 5 points.
I did not have Kawhi Leonard or Kyle Lowry in my lineup, or
that's
Damian
a big
Lillard
mistake.
for that matter. So, like 3 top scorers of an evening, I did not have. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't have a bad night. I had Siakam, who was great for the Raptors. He was on my lineup, but he didn't carry it all. So, thanks for bringing that up too, Chris America. It's great night for that. Though I still am riding high on that big Tiger Woods win I had over the weekend. So, as long as you're carrying that money from carrying it over, I'm still doing good. So check it out. FanDuel.com/STR. Get your $5 deposit bonus today, Chris America. Just do it.
Do it. All right, you ready for my poem for Poetry Month?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready or not.
I think it'll cheer you up.
Bring it.
Bring it. It'll cheer you up. Okay, you ready? It's a little long. I started flowing last night. The poetic spirit started flowing through me, and I came up with this little ditty right here. Wiki wild wild. Wiki wild. Wiki wild. Wiki wild 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 west. Jim West. Desperado. Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada. None of this. 6-gun in this. Brother running this. Buffalo Soldier. Look, it's like I told you. Any damsel that's in distress, be out of that dress when she meet Jim West. Roughnecks, so go check the law and abide. Watch your step. We'll flex and get a hole in your side. Swallow your pride. Don't let your lip react. You don't want to see my hand where my hip be at. With all of this, from the start of this, running the game, James West, taming the West. So remember the name. Now who you gonna call? Not the GBs. Now who you gonna call? JAAG. If you have a riff with people wanna bust breakout, before you get bum rushed at the Wild Wild West, when I roll into the Wild Wild West, when I stroll into the Wild Wild West, when I bounce into the Wild Wild West, Cisco. Thank you.
Your Honor, it was unbelievable. You understand?
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. It was great. It was, like I said, the poetic spirit flowed through me. It was like I was in the Wild Wild West when I was writing that song.
Yeah, I could get that feeling from you. You did feel like it was Wild Wild West.
I felt like all of the great Wild Wild West people were in, like Wyatt Earp and all those guys were just there with me.
We are getting a mention on Twitter about your poem. You want to read? You want to take a look at that? I don't know if you've got your Twitter
head on
feed
over
up
here, the
at
Twitter
Scout
machine.
Team Radio.
And bam, Cisco with the hook. We going straight to the Wild Wild West. Yeah, see, Scott's picking up what I'm putting down. He has that same poetic spirit that I have, and he saw where I was going with the poem.
Okay. Look at that. Poetry Month has really changed you, Chris America. You have changed.
Poetry Month has changed me. It's changed Scout Team Radio. It's changed Scott Kaiser. It's changed America. Thank God for Poetry Month.
Thank goodness. All right. Well, Chris America, you bring me down with your Tampa Bay Lightning. You bring me down with your Orlando Magic. So what can we move on to that's going to bring us up again? We need to get brought up again, I think.
Well, you kind of like the Nuggets, don't you?
I do like the Nuggets.
Well,
And I like the word nugget. It's a really fine
Yeah.
word. It can be used for chicken. It can be used for gold.
Yep.
It could be used for
Information.
pieces of information. Yes.
Yes.
It is a very versatile word. And as the word goes, the team goes, because this
Yes.
is a very versatile team. And our Denver Nuggets, or my Denver Nuggets, they finally come back after being down 19 points in this one, and they even up the series, Chris America. Go get them, Nuggets.
Yeah, 114 to 105. A lot of blowouts last night. And it's not like the Spurs did bad. I mean, DeRozan had 31. Aldridge had 24. But like you said, they surrendered those 19 points. They went through a drought that allowed them to lose a 19-point lead and end up losing by 9, which is crazy. But the Nuggets looked like they were a little bit more deeper with their points being spread around. 20 for Millsap, 21 for Jokic. Murray had 24 and 23 for Gary Harris. That's really good when you got 4 guys scoring 20 or more points.
Yeah, it is really good. And with these comeback wins, you need the guy that steps up in the third quarter or fourth quarter. And a guy that struggled throughout the series, I mean, it's only game 2, but Jamal Murray, he's the big-time point guard for the Denver Nuggets. He comes in, and game 1, he struggles quite a bit. And he's a young guy, so first time playing in the playoffs, a lot of nerves, a lot of anxiety, a lot of feeling out what that playoff atmosphere is going to be like. And it looked like he struggled again in this second game. He struggles throughout this game. And at halftime, his coach, Mike Malone, pulls him to the side and says, hey, just take a deep breath. Some of these shots are going to start falling. And he believed in him. And he said, there was a point where, there was some pressure maybe to pull Murray and have him sit so that they could bring in somebody that had some momentum. And he said, you know what? He wasn't going to do that. He was not going to pull his star out of this game. And he was going to ride him until he turned it around. And it paid off dividends for the Denver Nuggets and Mike Malone, because Jamal Murray, he finishes with 24 points in this game. But what you did not realize, Chris America, is 21 out of those 24 points were in the fourth quarter. Jamal Murray scores 21 points and goes off 8 of 9 shooting in the fourth quarter and comes back and helps carry this Denver Nuggets team to a victory. So that's what you got to do as a coach. Sometimes your superstars, they get cold. Sometimes they're in tough situations. But when you believe in them and you let them ride through that slump, sometimes it pays off. And in this situation, believing in Jamal Murray worked out for this Denver Nuggets team, and he did. He had a spectacular fourth quarter appearance here, and I love to see that. That's what playoff NBA basketball is about. The stars shine, Chris America, and Jamal Murray, he deserved to be the MVP of this game.
And I think that's what the NBA needs too. We need more superstars. Like when I look at the NFL, I think of like 10 to 12 to 15 guys that are really fun to watch, to look out for, whether it's a wide receiver, a linebacker, a running back, a quarterback. There's just so many guys that you love watching play. And with the NBA, it almost seems like we only talk about 4 or 5. You know, you got Giannis, LeBron James, KD, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. And you can throw in Steph and no, I don't even think you can throw in Klay Thompson in there. So you got 6 guys, and Steph has kind of been shifted to the background, has he not, since KD got there? KD's kind of overshadowed him in the storyline. Some of it is more like drama associated, where he's arguing with players, he's creating Twitter accounts and burner accounts and stuff like that, but that's really it. And I think the NBA needs more guys like Murray, more guys like Aldridge and everything like that. We need more guys to cheer for.
We really do. The stars are what draws people to these games, right? So the Denver Nuggets were that team where there's some names on there, but like they're not household names yet. And Jamal Murray's one of those guys that he's a young guy. He's leading this team. And Jokic is a big part of this team also. Jokic was 2 assists away from a triple-double last night, and he had a big game, and I can't take it away from him. But I think Jamal Murray, we look at this, it's like a point guard-driven league, right? It's the big man isn't as emphasized as it used to be. So the point guards lead it. You talked about guys like Steph Curry. Those are the guys that we know. Those are those household names. Jamal Murray could be that next household name. He could be the face of the Denver Nuggets moving forward, and it was nice seeing him having that big performance in the fourth quarter, and that's what we need. We need a name associated with the Nuggets, because we're saying they don't have the experience, they don't have the veterans, they don't have the superstars like these other teams. Well, guess what? Maybe they do have the superstars, and we're just not giving them the credit they deserve, and Jamal Murray last night showed he is that name. He is that superstar, so good for him. I love it.
All right, well, Loudbeard, we did it again.
What did we do? I don't even know what you're saying.
Okay. March 26th. So that's what, like 3 or 4 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago, we left the Portland Trailblazers for dead. We talked about how the Portland Trailblazers can't get anything right when the center went down. Nurkic, is it Nurkic that went down for the gruesome season injury?
Ooh,
and we were like, man,
don't bring it up. Nauseous.
The Portland Trailblazers, they just have the worst luck. And you know what they said? They got together and they said, hey, scout team doesn't believe in us, and we're going to have to go out and we're going to have to prove them wrong. We're going to have to show them in the world that we mean business. And so far throughout this playoffs, they have done that. They are making light work of this Oklahoma City Thunder team. C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard. CJ had 33, Damian 29 points, just utterly destroyed the Oklahoma City defense. And where the heck is Russell Westbrook? 14 points last night in 37 minutes. I don't know what's going on there, Loudbeard.
He still scored. He's still got a triple-double. Maybe he's trying to assist and do a little bit more rebounding.
He was 1 rebound away from a triple-double. He had 9 rebounds,
I thought he had
11 assists, 14 points.
Hey, close enough. Yeah, there's a couple storylines here, right? The one is the Blazers and how well they're doing. The other is what's going on in OKC. So I guess I'll start with the OKC part. Halfway through this season, I thought OKC was going to turn the corner. Paul George was looking like an MVP candidate, and Russell Westbrook
is. He had 27 points last night, man.
That's one game. I'm going to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
So halfway through the season, I thought he was an MVP candidate. Paul George and then Russell Westbrook was having trouble shooting, and I thought he would come around. Now Russell Westbrook, he's still stat padding as much as he possibly can. He's getting a lot of rebounds, getting a lot of assists. He's super athletic, but he's struggling with shooting a little bit here and there. Well, Paul George, on the second half of the season, he started struggling with shooting. Yeah, he's getting a lot of points, but these guys are volume shooters. They're shooting 24, 25 times a night and only making 7, 8 of those baskets. Their percentages are lower than what they need to be. And I don't think we're realizing that as a whole. So I think Paul George and Russell Westbrook are just not on the top of their game like they need to be. And that right there is what is driving OKC. Their shooting has been down, and it just hasn't been quite the same team in the second half of the season. And this is what we get. We get a team like the Portland Trailblazers with a superstar. Damian Lillard, to me, is the guy that could be a top 5 NBA player, but is not in that conversation. Like you said, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant and LeBron James, these guys are in the conversation. Damian Lillard, in my humble opinion, deserves to be in that top 5 conversation. Damian Lillard is a superstar that because he's in Portland, it's a small market, way out on the West Coast, way up in nowhere's land, doesn't get the respect he deserves. And I think if he makes a playoff push and takes out Oklahoma City and really makes some noise in the playoffs without that big man Nurkic, without having, I guess, that extra support, he can show his star. And where he struggled has been deeper in the playoffs. But Chris America, OKC, very disappointing, I'm going to say at this point. Series isn't over, but being in an 0-2 hole, I'm disappointed in what Russell's done. Paul George, yeah, he had some good scoring last night, but this team has to come together as a whole. There's just too much talent on this team for them to roll over. But if they're out in the first series, it's going to be kind of back to the drawing board and saying, what do we do in Oklahoma City? And like you mentioned yesterday, the first part to reconstructing this team is new coach. Billy Donovan does not survive if Oklahoma City loses this series.
Yeah, new coach, and I'm going to say this, Loudbeard. I think it's time. I think it's time for KD to continue his path of following LeBron James' career. I think it's time for him to return to Oklahoma City and get the band back together, and a Kevin Durant, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook team, I think, could be a very unstoppable force.
Oh, absolutely. And then, when you throw in other pieces like Steven Adams in the middle,
Yep.
a very good big man. And I mean, this team could do it. I would love to see that. You bring up a very good point. I mean, now I got to think about this. I'm letting it sink in.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant returning to Oklahoma City. That is what his legacy needs. Everybody talks about his legacy. He had to leave Oklahoma City to win those championships, pulling the LeBron James a la going to Miami Heat and teaming up with a super team. Now, him coming back and winning one for that small market Oklahoma City, he's not from Oklahoma City. It's not like the whole LeBron James winning one for the Gipper type story.
But he was there
it's still
for a while.
Great story.
And he was there for a long time.
That would be great for that community.
I think it would be great for the NBA. I think it would be great for his legacy. It would be far more exciting than if he went to the Knicks or the Lakers or anywhere else like that. If he comes out that, hey, 2 years in a row, or however many years it's been, the Oklahoma City Thunder couldn't make it out of the first round, and then KD comes back and they go all the way to the finals and win. Like, that's a good story to me. It's way better than him teaming up with LeBron or going over there with Kyrie Irving in New York. That's just boring to me.
That New York story, I don't know why that is. That kills me still. But if he goes to OKC, man, that right there, you're right, Chris America. You made my morning. If that's even a possibility, which I think it should be, Kevin Durant going back there he would be back in Campbell Soup commercials because people would like him again, and it would be a great thing. His mom, I like her. She would be better in Oklahoma City, Golden State. They didn't need Wanda Durant. They need Wanda Durant in Oklahoma City, Chris America. They need Wanda in Oklahoma City. They need KD back in Oklahoma City. KD, Russ, and Paul George. Now, I that's a dynamic trio right there. Gosh, the possibilities.
Or he can just go to the Orlando Magic. Just saying. That would be
bring
a real
up the
legacy.
Orlando Magic again. You're bringing down the mood. You like to do that.
I'm trying to be a
killer.
happy mood.
Mm-hmm.
Bring KD to Orlando.
Bring KD to Orlando.
Take Steph Curry with you. Or not Steph Curry, but Klay Thompson. Take him with you.
Yeah. On a side note, Klay, I feel like he's kind of disappeared in this whole mix. He has disappeared.
Oh, he got shuffled because remember I started to bring him up and I'm like, no, No, Clay's he's kind of just a specialty player now. I know he's more than that, but it just seems like he's just another guy all of a sudden. He's a Jag.
Yeah,
when you think about the Warriors, people just talk about Curry, KD, and Draymond Green. Really, you only talk about Draymond Green because of his antics.
It's true. And
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, I was going to say Draymond, he's another guy. He's having a kind of a down year. So when Clay's having a down year, Draymond's having a down year, I don't know. Golden State's just not that same eye of the tiger team like we've seen in the past.
Yeah. Well, Mike Berlon tweeting in at us at Scout Team Radio. I can't get the Wild Wild West out of my head. Thanks, Chris America. This is going to be a long day. You're quite welcome. You know, it's what I do for the people, Loudbeard. I write poems that just sow into your mind and sow into your hearts, and then you just think about it all day long, feeling good about your day, feeling great about your day. Man, it was a good poem. Wild Wild West.
Yeah, that was an original piece, right?
Originality.
All right, Chris America. On the flip side, we've got a lot of stuff to cover still. There is some great baseball action that happened last night. Some interesting factoids there. We can talk a little bit more about hockey, but as long as we don't talk about your Lightning.
No, we moved on. Why do you keep bringing it up?
I got to keep bringing it up. So there is one team in Major League Baseball that got their 10th straight win last night, the hottest team in all of the land. I will tell you who that is next after this quick commercial break. Hey, Kawhi, what are you laughing at, man? This isn't funny. Fantasy sports reimagined. FanDuel, that's what I'm talking about. It is more than just fantasy sports. It's the best way to watch the games, win real cash, and bring the action right to your living room. Just choose a contest, make your picks, watch, and win. And if you go to FanDuel.com/STR today, you can get a $5 deposit bonus. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/STR. Come on, man. This is not a laughing matter.
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. 12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst.
If you've been listening to Scout Team Radio for a long time, you know that myself, Loudbeard, has placed a bet or two in his day. That's right, I've lost the beard bet, I lost the romper bet, but one place I don't like losing is when I bet money, and I can easily do that at MyBookie. That's right, you can go to mybookie.ag, use promo code 12OZSports, and get a 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Hey, guess what? That is a lot of money. Do it.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Patriot, Chris America, and I want you to listen every single weekday, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and on replays from 11 a.m. to noon of Scout Team Sports. Listen, George Washington did not cross over the ocean blue in 1492 to defeat the Nazis, so you can listen to the same tired national clickbait sports stories. So once again, tune in to us every single morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., and then we replay from 11 to noon. I will see you there, and God bless America.
Welcome back. Thank you all for listening in. Once again, we are Scout Team Radio, bringing it to you hot and live each and every weekday morning. I'm Loudbeard. He's Chris America on the other microphone, and we are excited to be here. Make sure you hit us up on Twitter. Get interactive. Hit us up at Scout Team Radio on Twitter. We will read your tweets on air. We will talk about your topics, your subjects, any of that good stuff. Also, we do the live show. It comes on at 6 a.m. on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. It replays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. But we also drop it as a podcast. If you aren't able to catch us live, you can always go back and listen to the episode. Today's episode will be dropped right after the show's done, and you can go back and listen to us, and it is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere you find a podcast, just search Scout Team Radio. You can also check it out at the Barn Burner Podcast Network. Barnburner.ca is where you can find the information on Barn Burner. Check them out. That's our partner podcast network. Oh boy, with all of that being said, Chris America, before we move on from the basketball side of the things and get into baseball, I do want to say one thing to you. It is official. DeMarcus Cousins has a torn quad and will likely miss the entirety of these playoffs. So we talk about Draymond not being the dynamic player that he had been in years past. We talk about Klay Thompson being a little bit less of a superstar and more of a specialty kind of guy, a 3-and-D type of guy. Is this the Golden State Warriors team that is going to disappoint us this season? Is this the team that will finally be beaten? Is all of this adding up to an equation where Golden State will not win the finals this year, Chris America? What are your thoughts on this?
I think that's way too premature. If it was Thompson, Green, Curry, or KD, I'd say, ooh, let's take a minute here and think about this. But they've won so many championships without DeMarcus Cousins. They went a half season. They went all the way into January, like the end of January, nearly towards the All-Star break without Cousins. So I think we need to slow our roll before we start wondering if they're going to make it. I think there's a good chance, but not because of DeMarcus Cousins. I think, the Rockets are playing really well. The Nuggets look like they can be decent, and this upstart Portland team, they're looking to prove everybody wrong right now. I'm not saying all those teams are going to beat them, but I think they'll give them a run for their money.
Yeah, they're going to get a run for their money, and I feel like this is a different team than in years past. So I am going to jump to that conclusion, Chris America. I am going to say boldly right now on Scout Team Radio that Golden State is not going to win this season. They are not going to be our champions this season, and I don't know that I can give a bold prediction of who will be our champion, though I do like the Rockets. I've always liked the Rockets. I don't think that this is their year. The stars are not aligning like they have in the past. This team doesn't seem as hungry as it was in the past. This team doesn't seem like they're performing the same way. And a guy like DeMarcus Cousins going down, we think of that, he wasn't part of the regular season. But after seeing what the Tampa Bay Lightning did in the regular season, and then when it comes to playoff time, you need your stars to show up and shine. I don't know that the Warriors can get past DeMarcus Cousins going out hurt. I don't think they have the same depth like they've had in years past. Typically, they have a nice deep lineup, even with their death lineup in the beginning. But this season, it just doesn't seem like they have the same depth. They don't have the same drive. Steph, I think, is the only guy that is playing lights out, but the rest of this team, not quite the same. So, Chris America, I'm bold prediction. Golden State does not win it all this season. I'm just throwing it out there, and I think this Cousins thing is just another sign of the times that Golden State, their reign is over.
Well, Loudbeard, that's a really bold prediction. And I'm wondering if you have some more bold predictions here to help out some of our listeners. I'm here on the 12-Ounce Sports Radio site, 12ozsportsradio.com, and at the top of the page, there's a MyBookie page. You can click on it, and you can play some bets on some of these spreads. So let me get some of your thoughts on some of these spreads. Milwaukee, minus 15-point favorites against the Detroit Pistons. You taking the Detroit and the spread or Milwaukee?
Yeah, it's too big of a spread. I'd go with Detroit in the spread because 15 points is a lot. Detroit's coming back after a humiliating loss, game one. I think they make it at least competitive. I don't think they win, but I don't think they get blown out by that much. We've seen a lot of blowouts in the playoffs, so it wouldn't be surprising. But as we saw with Golden State, anything can happen. And not that the Pistons are a great team, but they might have a little fight left in them. So I'm going to go with the spread on that one.
All right, and then we have Boston versus Indiana tonight. -7 Boston. You taking Boston to cover or Indiana?
Wow. Boston's -7, huh?
7-point favorite.
Yeah, I'm going Indiana on that.
You think
They're
they
gonna
win
cover
outright?
that. I don't know. I'm not high on Boston, but yeah, I'm gonna go Indiana wins this one. Yeah, they even it up.
So you're taking the win and they beat the spread. Nice.
Yeah, why not? Let's do
All right.
it. Bold prediction. Bold prediction time.
Final game for tonight is Utah-Houston. Houston 6-point favorite.
Houston. Let's go with Houston.
All right, Houston covers.
Yep.
All right, well, that's all of my MyBookie.com. Remember, you go to 12ozsportsradio.com. At the top of the page, you see the MyBookie tab. Click on it, and hopefully you win some money and you can help Loudbeard pay for some Magic tickets.
That's right. That's what we need. Now, Chris America, I got to talk a little baseball. It was kind of an interesting night in baseball last night, and, we got to see some good stuff. Now, number one, I talked about it on the tease into the commercial break, is winning streaks, right? The Astros extend their winning streak to 10 games. Astros are coming out hot this season. I like to see that out of Houston. Very, very positive stuff coming out of Houston. But there was another team that has a streak going on, and a team that means a little bit more to us here in the Central Florida area, and that would be the Tampa Bay Rays. They have a 4-game streak going on, and they are now sitting at 13-4 after they get a big win, 4-2 over the Baltimore Orioles last night. Man, your Rays, they are on fire.
Yes, sir. They are showing me how smart I was earlier, even though I was just guessing. I said the Rays were going to surprise people at the beginning of the season, start off hot, and they have not let me down, Loudbeard, so kudos to me.
Now, when you talk about letdowns, the Boston Red Sox have to be the biggest letdown this season, and one of the reasons why is their ace, and I'm going to use that term very loosely, Chris Sale, not looking too good. He is now 0-4 and starts this season, and his quote after the game is, "I just flat out stink right now." And Chris Sale, I'd have to agree with you. You do just flat out stink right now, as they end up losing last night 8-0 to their big rival, the New York Yankees. Man, this is a Cy Young pitcher that is going through a huge slump after getting a big payday. Boston Red Sox fans are getting nervous. Their big-time ace, Chris Sale, looks like hot, burning garbage.
Yeah. The Red Sox are in last place right now. 6-11, I believe, is their record. And they have a pretty high payroll. So it's April, Loudbeard. And it's what makes me nervous about the Rays is right now everybody in their division has a losing record. So right now they're just playing bad baseball. Bad baseball. So hopefully the Rays can keep this up because you know that eventually the Yankees and the Red Sox will get things figured out and get going.
Yeah, they will. And you do have to be a little nervous because there was a little injury that could be a little concerning for the Tampa Bay Rays. Blake Snell injures a toe, gets himself on the injured list. So he fractured his toe on his right foot. So we've got bad news coming for Tampa Bay Rays fans. 10-day injury list. This could be bad.
Yeah, but it's only 10 days. So hopefully
And it's only a toe.
And it's only a toe. Hopefully that's not one of those lingering issues. Like I remember Shaquille O'Neal used to get turf toe all the time, and it was a kind of a nagging injury. Hopefully this is just 10 days. What is that, like 2 starts maybe, if that?
Yeah, it's not going to affect his rotation too much. May even just miss 1 start depending on how they place it. But I do have to say, could he be one of those guys like Ronnie Lott where you just cut your finger off so you could get back into the game? Like, that's what I'd like to see more baseball players do. Just, hey, I'm going to cut my toe off because it's bothering me so I can get back in the game. So this could be a great example of him being a tough guy. I'd love to see it. Come on, Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah,
let's get this guy to cut his toe off.
And then you can auction it off for charity.
Yeah, you didn't expect me going to the toe route, huh? Cutting it off.
I didn't expect the toe cut off. I didn't expect the discussion of amputating appendages and toes to be a topic today.
Anything goes when you're talking Scout Team
does.
Radio. Anything goes. Last night, Christian Yelich gets a 3-run home run to help his Brewers get past the Cardinals. So this is a fun stat, Chris America. Christian Yelich has 8 home runs this season against the St. Louis Cardinals. 8 home runs against just one team. He is a Cardinal killer, and he continues to do the good work over there for the Milwaukee Brewers.
That's got to be devastating for that pitching staff, right? That one guy's just beating you up and just taking your school money or your lunch money, leaving your underwear on a flagpole. That's basically what he's doing.
I could see the crowd right now, like, don't pitch to him. Don't
Yeah,
like he's
just
getting
walk
like
'em.
a chant going in the everywhere out there, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we're gonna pitch to him. Boom, another home run. No, we knew this was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Why do you keep pitching to this guy? Just walk him. Give him 4 walks. Whatever you got to do. Just don't pitch to this guy. What are you doing? Yeah,
Now, when you do a intentional walk, do you think they should just say, "Hey, we're gonna walk him," and just have him take first base, or do you think they should throw all 4 pitches?
Well, I'm a traditionalist, Chris America.
Yeah.
So traditionally, you need to do the old catcher
Well-
stand up, put the glove out to the side, so we continue the formality. But you're right. Why don't we just go up, give it the old nod of the hat, fist bump the ump, and then say, all right, the runner can go ahead and go to first base.
Yeah.
I mean, what? Let's change the game. Let's change
Especially
it.
now that we're counting and we're micromanaging every single pitch count. So if you walk 2 people intentionally, that's 8 pitches, and you're gonna take a guy out, and those pitches really didn't count, but the manager's gonna count them in today's baseball.
Yeah, it's a stat. Got to keep the stats going. Now, if you're a pitcher and you have a perfect game and you're pitching for the St. Louis Cardinals and it's the 9th inning and Christian Yelich comes up, do you intentionally walk him?
Yes.
No, you don't. Not on a perfect game. Come on, Chris America. What are you doing? Killing me. Yeah, you
I don't
probably
know,
would
man.
have. You would have pulled that pitcher in the 6th inning for giving him extra rest. Perfect
Yeah.
game.
This the first time he rubs his shoulder. I'm like, that's it. He's out.
Oh, soreness in the shoulder. It looks like,
Yep.
and the pitcher's like, no, I was just had an itch. It was a mosquito
Yeah.
bite.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, why not?
Oh, mosquito bite in your shoulder. You're out.
Yep, absolutely. So, Chris America, the NFL rules our world. We've got the draft coming up here in the near future, couple weeks away. A little bit less than 2 weeks away, and
Isn't it next Thursday?
yeah, so less than 2 weeks. So it's a week and a day.
So 8 days.
8 days. Okay. Now,
Yeah.
thank you for correcting me and being exact. I mean, I'm throwing out random, very non.
We are a high integrity sports show, Loudbeard. We give the exact right stats.
Screw
Even
you,
though I
man.
said-
Don't tell people I
even
have
though-
high integrity. I don't believe that. I don't.
Yeah.
That's an insult.
Even though I said the Red Sox were 6-11, they're 6-12. Okay,
Now-
so draft 8 days away. Go.
Yeah, draft is 8 days away, and we're starting to see some big news coming out of the NFL. And I just have to say this: the Chargers have officially done it. They have decided to make
Oh,
the
yes.
powder blues their primary
Yes.
uniform. Finally, we get some big news out of the NFL. That's what I needed. I needed my day to say, okay, we're going full powder blue. This is our team. Powder blues right there for this you leave San Diego and all of a sudden you get a little soft. Decide to go a little powder blue.
Yeah. People love it, though. People love that old school traditional look.
Now, do you think the Green Bay Packers should go to that ugly uniform they have with
No.
the
Mm-mm.
their
And I-
throwback one?
And I hate the Steeler B uniforms. No,
I think that Steeler Bumblebee one should be their primary uniform.
Uh,
Those are the 2 worst uniforms in the league.
Yeah, by far. There's a reason why they stopped wearing them.
Yep. So, hey, we just got a hot tweet in, and I like this tweet. Potato, Chris America. Less than 2 weeks away, 1 week and 1 day. Potato. Exactly. Thank you, Twitter. Dinner Time with Beck, a show here on 12 Ounce Sports Radio. Make sure you check it out. Thank you, Jeff Beck, for tweeting in. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, you know what? I could say that tomorrow is less than 2 weeks away.
You could. You could say that, and you would be true. Accuracy is important. You know,
Yes.
sometimes if you pinpoint details to the exact specification, it becomes a little too mundane. You got to be a little loosey-goosey. Like, tomorrow, it's less than 2 weeks away. The draft, it's a little less than 2 weeks away. Yes,
Yes.
it is. It's more than a week.
The
It's
end
less
of
than
this
2
show,
weeks.
the
It
end of
falls
this
into the
show,
range.
the end of this show is less than 2 weeks away.
We also have another tweet coming in, and I have to say this the way it came in. Those powder blues are amazing. From Mike
Yes.
Berlon. Yes, agreed, Mike Berlon.
I told you, man.
Those
People
are
love 'em.
amazing.
People love those powder blues.
They do. They're hot right now. They're so hot right now.
They're so hot right now.
They're like Hansel.
Do you think that's what leads them back to the Super Bowl?
No.
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 You're
So
done.
Back
you're done
to the
with
Super
Phillip
Bowl. Who, the
Rivers?
Chargers?
Yeah.
When's the last time? The 94?
94.
Is that when they
Yep.
went to the Super
Yeah.
Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's okay. Yeah. That the powder blue uniform is going to bring them back to the Super Bowl.
They should
Um,
re-sign Natron Means. Bring him back.
They need something. I mean, I was
You were high on
expecting them to make some noise. I was very high on them until they hit that
I
buzzsaw
warned
known
you.
as the Patriots.
Yeah.
Now, the Patriots, they continue to do damage. They signed Demaryius Thomas. They pick up an offseason acquisition now. He's
Nice.
getting to be a little older. He had a big injury last season, so I don't know what the recovery is looking like on the injury. But the Patriots do a great job of taking chances on these veteran guys that can be contributors. And guess what? If they're not contributors, they end up cutting them. So one way or another, it seems like it's a safe move. So I'd like to see Demaryius Thomas bounce back. And anytime you can add additional weapons for Tom Brady, especially with Gronk probably not being around. So
Yeah. Yeah, they
he
need
needs
to fill that
a
hole
big target.
that Gronk is leaving behind. I don't even know who their other tight end is, and maybe they'll go find one in this year's draft.
Oh, wasn't Martellus Bennett on there for a while? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm dating myself back a couple years.
Maybe.
I felt like they re-signed him last year, but I got to mentally get back into football mode. I mean, we've been talking basketball.
I
love
honestly
NBA
haven't thought
playoff
about the
time.
draft at all. Like, I pretty much shut my brain down off of football once the AAF went out. I don't know.
The
I'm just not that.
Apollos.
I'm just
You
not
meant-
that fan anymore that loves to talk about football year round. Like, it's okay, but I'm not a big non-sporting events like the draft or signing day or that kind of stuff. I like free agency day because that's kind of fun. But other than that, I'm just like, all right, let me know when the season starts. Let's get going.
Yeah, Scott Kaiser with kind of a hot tweet coming in here, Chris. I'm going to let you read this one.
I am not shocked that the Patriots signed someone to play wide receiver who doesn't look like you guys. But we all know it's either going to be Thomas as Super Bowl MVP or we'll forget this ever happened.
I'm going with the forget this ever happened, but yeah, you're right. It's one or the other. It's he gets cut by spring training or he ends up being Super Bowl MVP. So what are you getting at, Scott Kaiser? I just want to know, are you getting at the Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, Danny Amendola? Or is this like a pattern? Amendola, not Amendola. Is that a pattern, Chris America?
I don't know.
By the way, I'm trying out for the Patriots this weekend. Did you know that?
Oh, you should.
I have a good
You got-
chance.
You got that Chris Hogan beard. Or
Yeah, I got the
Amendola
beard. I got the beard, and I got the looks, if you know what
Yep.
I mean. Wink.
He's got the looks.
Oh, off the rails this morning. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. Well, we started to go on that train. I don't remember what train we got on yesterday, but I remember there was a train.
It's crazy train.
Oh, baby. Crazy. You're not too sure.
Oh, you're out of control.
Last 2 minutes, Loudbear. 2-minute warning.
All right, so Chris America, I got to get your opinion here. Who do you think wins the NBA Finals? Give me your true opinion. Do you think it's Golden State? I want to know who you're going for.
I'm going to go Rockets.
You are going Rockets. I like
I'm
that.
going to go. I want Rockets.
You think it's inevitable that the West wins because they're so much better than the East? Or do you think
Yeah.
that the Bucks or the Raptors or somebody like that could sneak up and steal a championship out from the West?
I think unless a team like Portland kind of sneaks in, I think it is going to be the West. I think the Rockets and the and the Golden State Warriors are just too deep for any of the teams that come out of the East.
It's a good point. Last question I have for you, a hard-hitting question. Tampa Bay Rays, do they make the playoffs this season?
I'm going to say yes. Let's do it. They need to come back. We need some Rays in the playoffs back in our lives. No more Yankees, no more Red Sox. Nobody wants to see that.
It's been a great show.
Yep.
And go Tampa Bay Rays.
Go
they need
Rays.
to avenge the Lightning.
Do it.
Hey, what's up there, listeners? This is your friendly neighborhood Loudbeard, and I'm here to tell you that there's two type of people in the world, those that are on a podcast and those that want to be on a podcast. And if you are one of those out there that want to be on a podcast, one of the first decisions you will need to make is which podcast host you want to use. That's right. If you're thinking about starting a podcast, you need to check out Podbean. Here at Scout Team Radio, we have been using Podbean since the very beginning, and we absolutely love it. They are easy to use, and they have affordable options. Just go to podbean.com/STR. That's right, Scout Team Radio. Podbean.com/STR to get started today. What are you waiting for?